Florida is in the midst of a $2 billion redevelopment to attract more companies and jobs. Joining me now is the city's mayor, Bob Buckhorn, along with Jeff Vinik, a partner in Strategic Property Partners and owner of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Good to see you, gentlemen.
It's good to be here.
All the way here in the cold Northeast, so thanks for coming. Before we get to redevelopment, I have to touch on politics first, Mayor, with you. Some activists have asked that Tampa be designated as a sanctuary city. Have you made a decision on whether it will be?
No, I have not. The county is already a sanctuary county. I have no intention of creating any kind of list or enforcing any policies that I think would discriminate against our families in our community. Whether or not we actually go to a sanctuary city designation remains to be seen. But we don't enforce that anyway unless those undocumented folks are in the midst or wanted for another crime. So we don't use our police department to go after undocumented citizens.
Now, let's get on to some of the redevelopment efforts. And Jeff, for this, I want to turn to you because you've actually made quite a bit of a personal investment in Tampa. You have a financial background. You used to run the Magellan Fund, then you had a hedge fund, then you got into the sports business. What is it about Tampa, with all your expertise on the financing side, that looks like an attractive investment?
You know, Rhonda, you go back and at its basic, Tampa is a great place to live, work, and play. I mean, it's a cliche, but I moved there from, I lived in New York 25 years, lived in Boston 25 years, moved down to the Tampa Bay area 7 years ago. It is fantastic. The weather is good. The people are friendly. There's no taxes. The business opportunities are tremendous. Its cost of living is low. It is a great place to live. And you're right, I have invested big time here, along with Cascade Investment. We're investing in 55 acres of land, downtown real estate, in the heart of downtown Tampa. We're building a $3 billion mixed-use development, office, retail, residential, hotels, cultural institutions, University of South Florida School of Medicine. All of this in a very walkable, active, vibrant community for people. Tampa's a great place to live. I've been down there. I love it. My family loves it. We love owning the Tampa Bay Lightning hockey team. And I think over time, more and more people from around the country, around the world, are going to appreciate what kind of an undervalued gem it is.
He's a good PR guy for you. I see why you brought him
along.
Vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. We're a good team together.
In terms of the rebuilding, you have had companies move to Florida. So a lot of the southern cities, in many ways, are all competing against each other. You're trying to attract millennials, startups, big Fortune 500 companies. How do you kind of tip the argument to your favor when you know you've got all sorts of mayors who think they've got the best city to relocate to?
Well, it's a great question. I think we do it in a number of ways. One, we celebrate our diversity as a strength. I mean, we are a city that looks like the world. We speak the languages of the world. We honor the inherent value in everybody, and we will never demonize anybody for any reason. Our ecosystem, our entrepreneurial ecosystem, we have major universities located there, producing a lot of intellectual capital. And if you produce the capital and you can retain that capital, then the companies will come because they know they have to be where the talent is. We're an international community, largest port in the state of Florida, international airport, expanding our global reach. 3 out of the last 6 years, we've created more new jobs than any place else in the state of Florida. So Tampa has become the place to be. I mean, this is an emerging Sunbelt city, like some of the ones that you talked about, that was rated the #1 city in the Southeast by Money Magazine last year. So we're excited about our future. It's very different than some of our competitors, very different than our competitors in our state. And I think we're going to lead the state south of Atlanta out of the recession, but more importantly, drive the Southeast over the next decade out of the recession.
Any worries about what potentially might happen with trade for the Tampa area?
Absolutely. I think the effort to dismantle TPP is a big mistake. I think we need to compete in a global environment. The opportunity to reduce 18,000 tariffs and barriers to 40% of the world's GDP is a positive thing. It allows us to create made-in-America goods and sell them abroad. So for us, trade is important. I understand the dislocation issues in the heartland, but it's not the trade deals, it's the technology that's changing that economy there. So for me, as the mayor of the biggest port in the state of Florida, the closest port to the Panama Canal, with opportunities to trade with the Far East, yes, absolutely, it is concerning to those of us for whom those jobs are tied.
Do you have an economic setback if we do see this pullback from trade? I mean, does Tampa grow less than you were hoping?
You know, my sense is that it won't be as robust potentially as it could be. You know, that Panama Canal widening offered us a huge opportunity to increase trade with the Far East. If we don't step in as America, then the Chinese will, and they will fill that void in the Far East. And the agreements and the structure of the TPP gave us a far more competitive position while protecting intellectual properties, protecting labor unions. So I think that hopefully the new administration will move very cautiously in terms of how we interact with the world. We need to be aggressive and not retreat.
Jeff, yes, go ahead.
One thing I would add to what the mayor said, and I agree with him, is that the Florida economy, Tampa Bay economy, has grown far more diverse over the last 10 years. It was very heavily dependent on housing, on real estate overall. But now if you look at what's going on in Tampa, life sciences is booming, financial services is booming, education is booming, defense is booming. It's no longer just housing. Trade is an element of the local economy, but it's only an element. So I think if you look, with population growth growing 2.5% per year, wages growing, we're right now growing nominal GDP in Tampa at 5 to 7% per year. It's a very powerful economic trend, and again, that's a reason why I have my money invested there.
Quick last question to you, Jeff. Put on your money manager hat once again. What do you make of this rally? You think stocks are overvalued?
I love rallies. I mean, I think it's good for everybody. It's good for business. You know, in my new life of owner of a hockey team and real estate developer, I try to keep my focus on the long term, not the short term. But when you look at what's going on in our economy in general, I mean, entrepreneurship, innovation is really driving our economy, which is great long term. We've got good economic growth. We've got low inflation. Sure, inflation may tick up a bit in the years ahead, but I don't see it becoming a problem. This is a good backdrop for businesses to have confidence, to make investment decisions, for people to spend, and I'm quite optimistic looking out in the years ahead.
Jeff Vinik, Mayor Buckhorn, wish we could talk for another 30 minutes. We didn't get into hockey. Sorry about that, but thanks so much for coming by. I'm Rhonda Schaffler for The Street.